Turning to Sudan, US President Donald Trump has extended the period of reviewing sanctions imposed on the country. American officials have a further 3 months to assess Sudanese progress on a host of issues, including regional stability, human rights and counterterrorism efforts. Our Washington correspondent Ryntjes has more.
In the final days of President Barack Obama's tenure in the White House, he signed an executive order lifting sanctions on Sudan for a period of 6 months. He cited what was described as a marked reduction in offensive military activity, culminating in a pledge to maintain a cessation of hostilities in conflict areas in Sudan and steps towards the improvement of humanitarian access throughout Sudan, as well as cooperation with the United States on addressing regional conflicts and the threat of terrorism. Now, Obama ordered that US officials monitor progress to decide whether to make the sanctions relief permanent after 6 months, and that decision time has arrived. But humanitarian rights activist John Prendergast, a former director for African Affairs at the National Security Council, says Donald Trump has not yet appointed key senior staff capable of making such assessments.
The Trump administration is uniquely unprepared to make such a weighty decision about a country where we have a lot of interests in. One of our arguments to the administration directly is wait till your people are in place. Give it another 6 months, gather some more evidence, but get your people in place on Africa before you make such a decision. Otherwise, it probably will be made for reasons that go beyond Sudan or go beyond Africa, in this case, Middle East policy.
Prendergast, who works alongside movie actor and humanitarian activist George Clooney, suggests politics may play a role in the administration's decision, pointing out that Sudan has received funding from Saudi Arabia to provide military assistance in Yemen, and that Donald Trump's developed a strong rapport with the Saudis following his trip there in May. The United States has also established in Khartoum what Sudanese intelligence describes as the largest central intelligence agency base in the Middle East. The CIA supports the lifting of sanctions, as does the United Nations. But members of Congress are urging a delay of this decision to properly assess whether Sudan's met the requirements on domestic conflicts, including the targeting of minority groups in the Nuba Mountains. Meanwhile, Sudan has hired a high-profile Washington lobbying firm to make the case for continued engagement and sanctions relief. Ryntjes, CGTN, Washington.